Welcome in, everyone. It's a weekend to remember as we kick off into the VESLverse. No, it's just the Valorant Yearly Cup. It's a big deal, though, of course, as I get to join the booth alongside Zephyr. I will be your host, at least with some of the most, as Hell Monkey Man. And, of course, you guys, we get to jump into some Valorant action, an annual cup that all of these awesome students are participating into, trying to figure out who is the best of the best going into this season. It's the fall. It's nearly spooky season. In fact, it really is very as close as we can be here, Zephyr, before everyone is donning their masks and assuming a new identity. I need to know, how are you doing today as we get into some great Valorant action?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to see what happens here because ultimately Valorant doesn't get a lot of VESL screen time, and for these players, this is some of the biggest moments or chances they'll have to come out on top of our series here. Now, notably, this isn't the beginning for them. They have competed through some groups already into today's bracket stage, so while we will be starting with initially some quarterfinals into semis, and then, of course, our third place match in finals tomorrow, they have already competed primarily against some of the competition that they will be seeing here.
Yeah, that was all best of one, though. Best of threes now. They finally get to start piecing together some of the stratagems and strategies to really kind of bring us into a longer series. So in our upcoming best of three, we already know our maps and we know our players and our teams as well, as it's going to be cash money going against the big Steppas. That is CCTL Early College versus Northwest Guilford, which, if you guys do remember out there, came in third place in the big state competition just earlier this year before the summer kicked off. And what are these students playing for? They're going to be going for some big gold and silver coins that are over in the not work, and of course for some big points here for the yearly cup that will lead them in that direction. So trying to find some momentum, if they can, for their teams and for their schools as they put all these teams forward into each of these titled competitions. Now, Zephyr, we got our three maps in front of us. It's going to be the first three set on lock is going to be Haven.
Right, coming through, and if it's going to be cash money on defense here, we'll see the returner Observer Big Steppas playing for the initial attack. Confirm for me, who was that selection on who made that decision there?
I do believe that was Big Steppas that got over into it. So Big Steppas out of Northwest Guilford. They chose this map in particular.
Okay, so already setting up to have a little bit more flexibility. Haven 3-point map able to push in there. We'll see what they're able to come up with now as we jump into the draft, notably seeing some very similar commonality.
Yeah, as we kind of go into this, Big Steppas, this is a team that's really kind of, I guess, live, breathe, and die by the sword when it comes to how they want to kind of weaponize Thigby. And I'd say that them alongside Rock Dude really are consistent. And I think we actually may have our names backwards on this thing. So we'll get that all fixed for you. So on the other side of things, there we go. Cash Money Big. That's big names. So the Big Steppas, this map has been dominated by quick strike and holding post plant, especially when you have an Omen and a Breach combination, which we're seeing out of Rock Dude and Justin. And Thigby, with that double controller, really wants to continue to cut off those sight lanes. But if you see the aggression, the counter aggression that Cash Money is stepping up with, CCTL really wants to bring in some heavy-handed duelists, especially with that Reyna and that Phoenix.
Yeah, it's something to potentially cut through what might be the defensive entities when we start looking at whether it be smoke setup, retake potential, or anything else that we've seen from Big Steppas, at least initially. Their power position, especially when we will see them switch on to defense later, will be very, very strong. But at least for the attacking portion, we need to see them foster some kind of lead. I'm looking towards Darling, especially on this Neon, to potentially lead the pack and potentially allowing for what might be maybe some good starts here on their attacking.
Yeah, and with Neon, I mean, everyone knows that they are kind of the any elo slayer at this point in time. 100% off of the slides, getting multiple slides, and so she's pretty much the dominating force of any kind of major entry, especially if you're combining that alongside the flash potential and the spam util potential that can be found with a Breach. And Cypher will be able to lock down any kind of anti-lurk, so you have a really good combination out of Big Steppas here from Northwest Guilford, as the Vikings will be bringing it in. But Cash Money, I like the ability to kind of reaggress and to do so in a short amount of time with the curveball flashes and the leers. That's a tough combination to have to deal with immediately popping, even if it's double smokes.
Well, 3 seconds to go. We'll start out relatively simple. Single sheriff in the hands of Thigby here to be the most major investment that we'll see. Everyone, though, definitely looking to come out on top of this initial round where you're already scared away from the garage at hand.
Conditioning that's going to happen with this top screen setup as well. It already clears 2 extra points of interest if you're Cash Money about where this is going to go. It's a 3-point map, so you have so many options, especially to spread out this defense. And right now it's being made of a decoy, and they think it's going to be happening towards B because they did shut away with that top screen where they could enter in, trying to look for a hat, and they heard footsteps as they walk away, but C seems to be the site of pure interest. They put the fault line out, and now they get shoot.
Darling with the extra speed, already setting up for backline sights here to take 2 is a fantastic entry into C. I was worried, especially with that rotation off the Tox wall, that we were seeing a little bit too much movement from Cash Money coming through that point, and with the shots taken out over towards garage side, they weren't quite in the point yet. Now, with Spike down, should be in a planted scenario as we'll see Warrior 2 start to peek out over the edge. Might be playing this one a bit respectful as they turn back towards the other side of garage. Don't know if they see Justin.
I don't think so. That Swedish, you know, darling right there, just kind of sitting themselves, but they may have peeked out just a step too far. Penta and Thigby catching a couple, so a flawless round nearly found as they have all of a single Phoenix to accumulate, but the plant is down, and with 5 still standing, ListMe is simply going to be trying to dive to the spike. Everyone walks away from the side of Big Steppers, and they'll be able to walk out with a 1-0 win. Good pacing, I'd have to say. They didn't take too long to decide that they really wanted to hit C, and the initial setup really set up the bait for Cash Money to not follow them early.
Looks like already on the buys. Full shield for Justin, the Rock dude there. Notably, Guardian in hand of Darling for power positions. Thigby still saving this one out for potentially what will be maybe a stronger setup going into round 3 as we continue to see Darling playing with their food. We'll end up back a little bit more respectful in the end.
just thinking about it, you know, trying to see what kind of aggression they can get.
I was about to say, I was excited for a quick tap or 2 around the corners here.
Yeah, I love being able to see Bucky Gaming coming in, but you're in the fast lane instead. Darling wants to be able to hit this as hard as they can. They see their own stun come right to them, and the 100% that's hitting from the Stinger is just way too lethal. The aftershot's going to put them at bay, and this is a quick plant here on A.
Already now in a defensive position with the full rotation from Thigby as well on that Viper setup. Walking key, points ahead. Thigby with the rotation. It is another major full wipe here right off the beat for Big Steppers. I will say it is the round 2 though. This one is for all the marbles.
I do like that they knew exactly how to play kind of coy when it came to the pistol round, just to set themselves up with a nice fat bank going into round number 2. And after that, they knew the advantage that they were able to hold. So they now will have a big bonus, as well as it looks like they're going to actually buy up a weapon. They had so much extra creds. Thigby will be able to pick up that Vandals. So Cash Money can't see themselves falling too far back, or else this could be kind of an echo point where we're going to see 4 rounds fall very swiftly. But again, change of pace. This really could be the difference of how Big Steppers play. And already that Vandal finding some big value.
Back jumping across, and even with the advantage of the weapon, a quick switch pickup there for Darling on the Vandal. That's going to be a huge advantage playing defense on B with the spike down now. Looking for retake, I mean, funnel through the side lane of A off of a slow rotation with the shots already picked out there. Kind of giving away this presence. Window Licker looking for a push across. The flash not really an advantage. Does at least find Penta over the side before you do see that.
Taking advantage of knowing when that peak was and what that angle had. Window Licker will stay alive. They find 2. And in this 3v2, you have just a bit of time, maybe about 10 more seconds before this gets a bit too quirky. And now just taking a single tap onto the spike. They send everyone in. Stark finds 1, but not the rest. 2 will survive. A very successful bonus for Big Steppers. And, you know, even with quick steps, they're able to turn into a 3-0, and this is a tough one now as everyone's going to have big buys, Zephyr, and Cash Money's looking like they're kind of low on cash.
Yeah, that was the investment round. That's what you have to pull out here, and in the end, while we did see some signs of life, especially from Window Licker there off of what could have been the retake, end of the day, it's just hard to compete into. So I like the fact that we are seeing them be a little bit more respectful, not quite the full investment that you would maybe need to see going into the round 4. As a result, setting themselves up for potentially a a bigger fifth here, as now with the full buys out in force for Big Steppas, this should be their easy round to take.
A little bit more respectful, and yet two shorties are out there. That means they're going to hold close quarters as best as they can, and there's a nice little pocket you could do that on A, but I think the read is definitely happening here as the fault line gets struck into Garage. Paranoia to try and scare them off, and only two get tagged, but standing their ground is Darling as they get a double kill, and still everyone's standing even low. Darling is going to be that nice entry. I was thinking they're going to pull out the overdrive. They don't need it quite yet, but this is a full site C takeover as everyone's just dropping into Garage.
Darling with a quick peek takes forever on the 20 health, unable to find him. The shotties as close as you can be, just don't pump it out enough. A single loss in the face of Big Steppas on a round that we had already set up for success here. Now, notably, I do want to point out both neural thefts available here, but overdrive in particular for Darling going to be a tool as well. Given the fact that we're seeing that full buy from Cash Money, could be a really big advantage to utilize going into what looks like a push on it.
Yeah, I was thinking for all of a moment, Darling might actually use it early into this round, especially considering that they have so much extra cash and they can just continue to snowball that. It looks like it will be a regular buy, but Neural Theft kind of stays as a present for later. Whoever's able to at least get that first kill and that big pick, especially as they're flexing into this sewer position on A. Everyone's getting seen. Lismi will call for the rotation. You have all of one anchoring into B. It's going sliding. They can't get to go. No, they do. Darling and Pinta good for two from the corners.
Now covering the rotation over from B. Revealed off of the sight line there. Now playing defensive. Big B with at least a bit of Venom will now tick down for a bit. Always available for reactivation is Stark. Just barely peeking the sides. Gonna try to play from heaven instead here. Have to be super careful. You can see that sightline held.
They already know the majority of where they are because that neural theft did get used, and now all of two out.
One enemy remaining.
Rock Dude is hanging out with the rest of the fam, and that's another flawless round. It has been such an efficient foray of having to deal with these Vikings, these big Steppas, and I mean Zephyr. This looks like a team that's in full control. We know that this quarterfinal was seeded by the original group stages where it was all best of one, but they've really just kind of put their the best foot forward, if you will, off of their first map pick.
Well, the crazy thing too is coming out of group stage, Cash Money actually has won more matches than Big Steppa. They go 2-1 out of the group stage on our seeding. Big Steppa's only 1-for-1 against what was Pineapple Piers and Team GOAT, who notably, I bring that up because whoever wins this matchup will be facing off against Team GOAT in the future. For Stark, it might not be them. As a result, Big Steppa's already 3-up. Darling is utilizing that overdrive to start this round off to lead to, once again, a heavily advantage. Lined up on the corner, just barely doesn't find the 4-peat there. It's up to Window Liquor once again, and instead doesn't quite check that corner. It's a 6-0 lead for Big Steppas here. This is sometimes where we see a lot of teams potentially walk into their next position, their switch up on the map, and instead it is a huge, huge advantage for Steppas.
Yeah, Steppas have been just kind of riding the lightning. I mean, they've been able to run behind Darling with major confidence. 11-3 on their Neon and Thigby. 10-0, has not died yet. Has a sneak pick to be able to go and just dominate a site. And again, it's another eco-saving situation here for Cash Money. The economy not treating them too well, and their investments are not finding dividends at the end of the day. So Big Steppas have really put them behind a bad hedge fund. So what can Cash Money do? I know.
Right.
Look, I'm sorry. Look, I went to the bank yesterday.
Something to note is this round, I won't expect to see a huge investment from Cash Money. I mean, you can already see with that double knock, but I did want to point out that we are seeing a lot of really, really powerful, well, at least setups for the next one here. Notably with Reyna having that Empress available alongside the X-Seekers from Sky. And actually now everybody gung-ho and ready from the shadows, as well as run it back alongside that Neuralink. These are some big tools to potentially get the momentum back, and they have to utilize them here because realistically they don't have the money to waste another round.
Not at all. And I feel like if you're going to see at least 2 of them get used, it's going to be in this round. Because you have big information that can be gathered off of from the shadows as well as from your neural theft. But one is, I mean, they're both very active, trying to see where anyone may rotate over to and to be able to flip the script. But if they're going to retake a site, I can see the Empress as well as the running back happen. But, you know, now you have at least one out the field, and that's going to be another one. Darling is ignoring the fact that any of those ults exist. It's going to be another free A site.
Could potentially see the investment of the run in back here from Phoenix, but honestly, with all 5 members of Steppers up, I mean, your best bet is to save it. The problem is, at what point is it just too much here? A lead like this round had to potentially be in, because going to the next, we already know weapons and economy are absolutely nothing. The run it back, wasted, just completely wasted over on the corner.
That looks exactly like the cutscene that they had for Worlds 2 years ago, where your Phoenix just ults right out in the open. And unfortunately, they just didn't have the better read, where they were all just going to step out from Link and take you down twice in a row. So 8-0 right now are Big Steppas. And while this is a best of 3, this is a single elimination bracket. We will have a 3rd place as well as a grand final tomorrow, but you have to make it to that semifinal before you even have the option for losing to still have a second chance. And cash money, I mean, the good news for them, they're on maximum loser credits. But you also heard that sentence, that's also the bad thing.
At least in terms of what we could potentially see here. I mean, Window Liquor does find Thigby for once. This is going to be the earliest successful take, but Darling is constantly accelerating the pace of these points here. Switch for that Vandal over the side will be the Neural, giving away the complete location of cash money. They weren't, sadly, farther ahead here to give a clear picture, but now knowing probably coming from Garage side, especially with the big stompers that we're hearing from there. Let's see if they can pull for a bit of a line.
Bit of nearsightedness on that dog, but still ends up working out. They're going to throw the hot hands and hoping to just respond. They will at least get a wallbang headshot, maybe some extra healing as they get stunned out. Pinta will get the clear out on List Me, and that is 9 in a row. We're approaching double digits, not just in total round count, but possibly for the 10-0 for Big Steppas. One thing I guess I wasn't taking account for, and I will be looking at the stats at the end of this first game, is the amount of first bloods that come out of not just Darling, but Thigby, because they are freely peaking as well when it comes to the early rounds.
This is something that worries me, especially knowing that we're probably going to be carrying this conversation over to Bind as well. I mean, the maps themselves seem to be having little discussion, and instead it is big advantage we see started off by Thigby and Darling, and it doesn't seem like the points themselves, long corners on A or potentially deep rotates on C, have stopped them from getting hyper aggressive on these pushes. Darling already with that first blood taken over the edge. Justin there. Sadly, it is going to be Listme just barely peeking the wrong side. A nice corner tap as well from Justin off of the rotate from B, and it is once again a huge lead for Big Steppas here, just left up to Jitter on Heaven, and a plant that's coming through on the complete opposite side.
We had a talk in the green room about maybe buffing good old Breach, but you don't need any buffs if Justin is hitting like it is now. A 4K to finish off round number 10, and double digits acquired here for the Vikings. These Big Steppas coming through out of Northwest Guildford. So, you know, you kind of speak into it. It's rough to see this kind of flipping away, especially from the momentum that we have in this game. But map to map often does change. This is, in fact, the pick of Big Steppas. Maybe Cash Money does have a plan when it goes to Bind, but, I mean, Darling simply is ignoring any kind of strategies that are in place. They're also one off from having another overdrive, 2 inside of this first half.
This is a huge problem for them now. Last investments coming through potentially off these rounds. Finally, it is the aggression from Darling punished out, unable to get the sprint across there. And while it does come at the cost of Thigby wrapping from back, you can already hear that Viper's hit on the other side towards B. The only question is, well, where does the spike retain its positioning?
Have that Viper's Pit, and you're looking to get at least a weapon in the hands of Jitter, as you do have at least your Reyna all good to go. Thigby is going to hold Sentry, and they're going to return into the Gak Fest. So you've got 2 weapons, you got 3 people to 2, so Big Steppas holding it down, and Cash Money hoping to have something walk into the next round. They saved into this one. It's looking 11-0, is very much the high probability. Paranoia will go out, especially as Penta gets rid of one, clear out the trap wire. Jitter actually gets them blindly and will be then turned to dust by their counter omens. So 11 up before we get to the final round of the first half, and Big Steppas continue to just take long strides.
Honestly, the only thing we can really discuss here now is, because clearly Big Steppas are coming out of this first game, I mean, probably with a win here, what needs to change from the likes of Cash Money? Because an 11-0 start is, I mean, it's pretty much as bad as it gets, i.e., well, potentially 12-0.
I'd say that obviously you have the main two that kind of stand out. You have Darling, you have Thigby. If Darling is playing this game now like it's Black Ops 6, you have to find a way to counter read where they're going to go. And they have been running away from this Cypher setup so fluently and so swiftly that util is just not going to be the name of the day. You have to be able to find it in a 2-0 swing. They get him on a counter angle. I love that. The first two bloods actually go, make it 3. Big Steppas falling at the doorstep. So this is actually potentially not that 12-0. Cash Money still has to complete the job.
I think that's exactly what I was hoping to see, is you let them really get into your face here. And while we will see some minor pickups, it is finally the first round for Cash Money off of Window Licker on that rotate. If you continue to let, you know, individuals like Thigby and Darling run through you when it comes to any one of these individual points, right, it is at least something you should try to capitalize, take advantage of. Play small, let them push, because so many times over, I mean, I can't believe how deep we see individuals like them getting.
Yeah, Darling's just begun freely running as if both sides of the map are their own device. They own a territory there, and they're just renting it to the side of Cash Money. But we do flip halves. So now Big Steppas have to answer in kind, and I do like the idea of leaving Darling by themselves on A. Can quickly rotate to across the map off of their sprint, or to be able to just get out of harm's way. But you know they're going to dive into sewer, get either a down check and try to get a kill. They may just stand their ground and take as many as they can with them.
Already straight around the corner there, going to be a bit dazed and confused. Already now playing a little bit more respectful, we can see after the result of that last round. Okay, looking for the corner. Good checks over the side. The blind unavailable, as they'll be smoked out from Omen there, giving themselves away. Full coverage on A. I like the fact that we do have Darling playing it short on the other side behind the boxes. It's a really nice location.
Ooh, and they're going to get taken down by Window Licker, who does come up with 3v2. Penta trying to be able to win the swing. Jitter does it instead, and a nice little jump peek there by Thigby. It's a 1v1, 10 HP. If they do it to you with a right click, you're never going to hear the end of it. That spike is not planted, and you have a single shot 2 in the chamber. They will throw out the hot hands, and just even the heat of that could have killed him.
This is a huge issue now, looking for the rotate off of Long here to maybe potentially pull this one off. Playing it very, very safe. Listen to me here, probably going to be off of the corner there. Giving himself away. Oh, could have been a huge win for Thigby, but it is a spike found
30 seconds left
in the end.
So now they're going to creep on up. They're going to hear the plant happen. Of course, it's going to be on opposite side box, and Thigby is just going to hold strong. They are still getting the dinks through the box. Cat and mouse game. Along the other side, one good right click from either side, and that'll do it. 4 for Thigby, and 12-1. They'll be on match point heading into round number 14.
At least I will say, for Cash Money's sake, this is probably one of the better rounds they've had at the start. But granted, it is the starting round off of the switch. It's probably your best opportunity for any team. Off of that reset, though, it does hold them back quite intensively, and notably, Cash Money know this. They're not going to be playing it as safe already. We're looking at those buys, but it isn't the perfect setup. It's only literally the Phantom that excels there. Bit of a Marshall wide pick from Penta. Curious to see how that plays out. Well, you know, it's always potential. Potential, you know, partial gods. The same can be said for Jitter. It looks very similar for both squads, given the fact we saw so many wipes.
Darling on a neon with a judge. Yep, that checks out. It's gonna be a tough entry. Gonna have to really make this blind count. Oh, and they get tagged with some of that decay as well. They're just going to hold their ground, and of course, that's exactly what's going to happen. That funnel system just too strong on the side of the defense. Big Steppers have already limited it just down to 1. List Me is about to get sworn possibly by a whole fan of knives. Yep, then they're taken down. Flawless round, 13-1. That's a 1-0 series lead for Big Steppers.
That is a problem. This is a problem child roster. And to be honest, Monkman, I can't believe they even come into this setup today with 1 loss on their belt, because this does not look like a team that's capable of a loss.
You know, sometimes you end up against some big players, and at the time, it's exactly what we got to see. Also, I was looking for the first bloods. 5-5, Thigby and Darling both starting off their teams the majority of those rounds. But yeah, this is a squad that I think you had mentioned before that they actually gone against the GOAT, or Team GOAT rather. So they're going to have a rematch if they can get this next map done. Obviously, Haven lends itself to being stronger for attackers because of the spread out defense, and Cash Money had to start off on that half. But, I mean, this is just a team that knows how to play. They have done so good for just the first 14 rounds we got to see them.
Well, it is an excellent start here for the likes of Big Steppers, and it's a huge mountain to climb ahead for Cash Money. We're going to go to a short break, and when we come back, we'll potentially be discussing our last game of quarters here. Stick around.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're having a banana good time. Tons of potassium for you, me, and everyone else as we get into game number 2 of our VESL Valorant Yearly Cup. Again, I'm Hale Monkey Man in the booth alongside one of the greatest faces and voices in all of esports, and Zephyr, as we get into our midway point, could be the end point of our quarter-final match. After the 13-1 we saw, Zephyr, I mean, what arguments do we have to say otherwise that this could go to 3?
I know it's spooky season, but it's already looking like a slaughter out there. 13-1 coming off of the first game in the favor of Big Steppa. Shout out Northwest Guilford off of their incredible lead. Now 1 up in the overall best of 3 here. This is the problem we discussed coming off that last game. If the play styles remain the same, coming from some standout individuals, notably like Darling and Thigby, it's not going to be any kind of the map change or even potentially what changes we see coming into Agent Select that will make any impact here off of this map switch up or Game 2 as a whole.
Honestly, I don't see them doing much switching either when it comes to their agency, unless they just saw themselves have, so much success that they want to try something new. Maybe bring out some of the Yoru buff. The fake out got changed a little bit. Now it's affected by everything. But, I want to see maybe if they do flex around. If you're walking with the Viper, with the Neon, and with your Cyphers, you're pretty stock standard and strong. You don't think I could see switching up? Maybe that Breach. But either way, game number 2 into Bind will be here in just a moment, and this is the pick of Cash Money. So this one has to pay dividends, and I mean, they're going to be starting on attack, which I think is going to be a big tone setter. They have to come out the gate very strong.
Right, and we got to see it last time around, what it looked like for them when it came to being on that attacking side. It wasn't the worst, and honestly, they took a very strong start coming off of their first, at least, pistol round. It's just, outside of that, I think we have seen 2 close competitive rounds across that entire 14-match series, right? And, I mean, hey, you'll get your wish already on Agent Select here.
Yeah, I'm seeing at least Justin, who was originally onto that Breach, so they're flexing away. And I think the key one that kind of is floating in right now is Rock Dude is still on to the Omen. Darling is going to move from that Neon to Reyna. So just playing off of the power of having so much of that, terrifyingly hot in her own way. So Thigby's staying consistent as that 1.5 Sentinel, if you will. Viper still just untenable when it comes to how strong they are globally across this map. The one that really stands out to me, though, in opposite, is Warrior on the ISO. That's going to be made for some big duels.
Yeah, potentially able to... It worries me because if you're taking it up against Darling or Thigby when it comes to at least what might be the kill contract there, I mean, it's something to work with, but the isolation as a whole is something that can maybe give Cash Money the effort to have a small agent-based, ultimate-based advantage off of some of these rounds. Granted, we didn't get to see them take advantage of that maybe as enough as they should have.
Biggest thing that has really kind of come out to me as well is that we have double duelists on either side. This matchup in particular is going to be made for skirmishing. We're not aiming to have double controllers, which would deny so much sightline and give yourself some sight presence at least, and just kind of just acquiesce to those hallways and instead stay to sight. And you're not doing it off the double initiator to really have a lot of intel, because Bind can be very tricky at times, especially off of the TPs. You can have the fakes, especially from the fake outs now from your Yoru. But now it's going to be who simply can out-duel, who can walk to sight. And Penta flexing over, I believe, let's see, last round in particular, they were on Cypher. So now they're sitting as the lone initiator with this fade. So this is going to be interesting how they kind of weaponize this. They don't have a Senti, but I guess no Senti, no problem.
Now, they're going to take some time here, notably to get a bit of a pause going as they had a small disconnect on one of their players. I will point out, though, that in regards to this setup coming off of this next match, Cash Money has completely switched it up. You point out what is that double duelist comp. It's the fact that everyone has now put themselves in different places. And it is interesting because Listme goes from things like that Phoenix now into a very completely different role on a Brim, right? You go from Stark on Sky to now Cypher, right? You're not in the front pack of the lead trying to set up for what is blind. You are on a more defensive character. And the same can be said going from things like that Reyna to ISO, maybe not the craziest difference, but going from Cypher to Jet for Window Licker. I mean, we had a fantastic performance from Window Licker, arguably being the best player off of Cash Money in that first round. This is something to potentially give him more agency. The Jet being that of a duelist can be something that, well, is maybe an advantage that Cash Money know they have to play into, given how aggressive Big Steppers has been.
Yeah, it felt almost like they were sitting in roles that were really uncomfortable for them when it was on Haven. Phoenix for Listamy wasn't exactly as strong as they were hoping it could be, but we're gonna go just full strong Armstrong into this one as Cash Money will be on the attack. And Window Licker, you named him as one of the top duelists on the squad. Oh, they give the old temple to Thigby, and they're not off to miss already with an opening 2-set.
Double taken there. The flash no longer available. Double peaks will represent the end of Thigby there, but it comes at the cost of Stark as well. It is but Jitter off of a slow rotate from corner side that finds a response here. Darling already picked apart and only going to be the likes of Penton Heaven. Does at least make it safe for Jitter, but a straight Beaker's Vantage off the edge there, and a defuse puts Big Steppers already in the driver's seat, leading into game 2.
Yeah, Darling put on the high heels and just walked on forward, and apparently that was enough to make Warrior just kind of feel a little bit off. So that one ends up paying off, but it was a skirmish. Again, you had mentioned how we got to see the smallest sample size of the first couple of attacking rounds for this Cash Money group on attack on Haven, and I mean, it went down to the last 2. So a great start at least to get them now back into that competitive pacing, and it still renders the same results. Big Steppers now on this defensive starting half. They have to find ways to really receive and get these reads, and I want to see this aggression because Darling, they're going to start aggressive, especially with the Guardian, see what they can pop.
Already around the corner to find one for Darling. Much more mobile, I will say, this time around with Reyna. Even still, though, it's a bit too much pressure. Does pick off the remnants of Warrior there, at least in the end with the Guardian. Trying to set up with the Wolves as well. The Omen smokes in combo make it hard to make the push through Hookah there. As a result, going to have to be pulling out further away. It's a 2-for-4 now with, well, even with an advantage for full rotate. I mean, it will be followed through.
Yeah. At least the ability to still, actually, no, they don't have the regrowth anymore, so no healing is going to be available by Jitter. They're just going to go off of that plant, hit it on truck, and honestly, that's going to be probably the best thing that comes out of this round in particular, as Justin slow walks into this position. Listamy doesn't even get a shot off of the Guardian, and now you're down to a very hurt Sky in a 1v4.
Little survivability available here as Thigby off of Heaven's in the perfect position to take advantage. It feels like deja vu, only this time it's Justin who will not pick up the defuse. Hand that over to Thigby, get that Viper's Pit potentially going a little bit quicker here off these early rounds.
Yeah, and if I was looking to get either ult orbs or just kind of a quick build up into ultimates, it would definitely be Thigby. They have the most to go for everyone, as well as I think the most impactful ultimate of this composition, because everyone else is going to be going out into short, into long, into these shower positions and trying to win duels, and Thigby is set to receive and then can cut off those lanes as soon as they build into it. I think they're going to see at least 2 Viper's Pit this first half at minimum. And Cash Money, they will have their buy-up round. It's not the strongest in terms of a bonus, but there's at least quite a few weapons that have to punch their way through.
Notably, Jitter, just 1 orb or kill away from having those Seekers available there. Checking out the view, will find it's completely safe. Brim with some really nice smokes. And a nice peek over on the side with Jitter able to find 2. Good set up for all if they want to use it. Sets those Seekers out into play. Gives away what will be at least 2 here.
Time for the reverse curveball. See if they get one. Justin is going to walk their way just past box. Jitter already with a 3rd. And this is a much better start here for Cash Money as they're aiming to split this lead in half. They identify they're at least in that back hallway position. Jitter gets taken down. It's a 1v4. If anyone wants to do it, it could be Jitter. You hear the shield getting come up, and so they have to get that one popped off first. Gotta lead in with it. And now they're just kind of spraying and praying, seeing what can come about. Warrior will finish them off, and for the first time. I know it's only 2 games in, but they at least give them something in the first half.
There you go. Much more balanced, not looking like a complete wash there, but remember, this is now the opportunity to see some stronger buys, at least from the side of Big Stepper. You can see already triple Vandal out, and what likely will be another big pickup for Penta as well. Bullpup switch for Justin for full armor instead. Give some, at least, safety there, and in the end, a bit of a softer one for Penta.
Big Steppa's not at full power, but I don't think that's going to affect them too much. Look how they already steal space. You have Darling that immediately is down checking where in the world everyone from Cash Money is, and they're going to be aggressively lurking. You have to respect that someone is in this teleporter, especially as they stepped on through. So taken advantage of immediately could happen. The Pathfinder will go to clear hookah. See, no one's there. You're going to have to play with some pace, or else you're going to get caught from behind, and that's exactly what happens with Justin.
Really, really nice setup there. I like the fact that they were playing a bit slower through the teleporter off of these next few rounds. They were trying to set that one up more aggressively to go for the full take, and after we saw the punch on Darling, I'm glad they changed it up. Figby from afar with the Vandal, putting in work there from the edge. Stark needs to secure some kind of decision. Here's that spike and could make for a deeper rotate off of teleporter, but now, especially with smoke potentially moments away from coming down there, he is stuck.
Nice little quick step. They at least find an exit frag at minimum, 40 seconds before they end up committing. They want to fake out going through the teleporter, getting anyone from Big Steppas to try and early rotate. The Prowler will give them away. Very angry Shadow Cat. Now Stark either has to commit or quit and go to A.
This is tough now. Already taking full sight lines over towards the edge there. Looking for rotate. That's fine, but one bad peek away from the end.
Oh. Let's talk about how that one was a lineup. Cash Money, they were all of one big ace, especially with everyone from Big Steppa's taking a sachet, a little, just flank in line, and Thigby comes out the better of it to get themselves a 3K, but 4 were picked up there by Stark, who was nigh the Moroccan hero that Cypher's offs can be, but no clutch up there through the first 4. And then we go to another pivotal rifle round, and I want to see what Justin does because they have all of the Sheriff. I can see them using their Dimensional Drift to get some early information.
Notably, it is going to be a bit weaker armor side for Big Steppas coming off of the line. Instead of that, and will be an equivalent trade there.
Exactly.
Notably, Neural Link going to come out from Cash Money almost immediately to give away this positioning. And thankfully, it's only going to be Showers here. That's going to be the real difference. Really like the teleport there to at least give some safety away to Rock Dude.
Rock Dude has not identified that anyone's right around behind them. They get rid of the tripwire, and so they put up the cyber cage, but they know they're just around that corner. They're expecting it, but Warrior and Jitter are clearing sight. 4v2, all ready for the next fight, but Penta at least comes up strong. So 3v2. You do have the Dimensional Drift. They're trying to find them from behind that U-Haul position. List me, just a soft little sidestep, and suddenly they're even numbers.
Really like that. Also picked up a Vandal along the way. Shot out there will give Penta the go-ahead to at least seek out this corner, and very nice utilization of the 1v1 situation. Will put Booty Warrior down and out, but the setup for a confirmed pickup from Stark is the reason you do it. It's a guaranteed win for Cash Money.
They turn right around and they barely walk out with the only weapon there. But Stark, because of the only buy up, look at the situation with Cash Money finding themselves at least a couple of rounds, but losing 4 out of 5 in the process. Yes, they have Big Steppas in an eco. They'll have full rifles, but this becomes maybe a pivot point to either be them tying up into 3 or falling into the pit of misery with less coins in the pocket. So they gotta take advantage while they have the Arsenal diff in this round 6.
Should be able to, in my opinion. The only thing I do worry about is that Empress being available for the likes of Darling there. That is something that, albeit we've seen a bit more of a quiet start from Darling this time around with Neon not really being the pickup, it's still always a threat. That first game showed us that, Bus.
Reyna's kind of an individual style of agent versus Neon, who can do the same thing but really paves the way for more. So seeing Darling kind of onto this, it almost feels like they kind of nerfed themselves by not having the same sort of aggression package available to them. So they're set to receive into Hookah, and there's going to be a little quartet coming to them. And in fact, they drop early. Stark has been really shining the last couple of rounds. Nearly a hero moment, finishing in the previous, and then finding themselves with that first pick.
Already pushing forward there. It will come for one now. Well, with the judge in hand, have to find some kind of close range, but once again, Stark with the quick flick over towards Edge is going to secure B here, and with only Justin, of course, and a quick Seeker or two is going to give that one away.
Yeah, knowing that the Seekers only went towards the defensive side spawn, you can isolate all their util. You get to see them both in full HD, 4K if you can afford it. Cash money in a 4v2. Big Step is maybe just aiming to get an exit frag and maybe a kill or two if they can. Down in distance, Warrior will let the side cross of List Me finish it off, and so Cash Money, you get to see them in a much stronger position. They picked Bind for a reason, and it's paying off on this attack.
Now in a situation where we're going to have to see for the very first time big recoveries played. This, though, is that investment of the round. Notably, we'll say with the early pickoff on Darling there, it will be a very late but available Empress in play here going into round 7. And notably, of course, the Fade as well. Nightfall, always an available option to potentially make what could be one of these defensive angles that we've seen some really good rushes from Cash Money, now a bit harder.
I will say that Rock Dude has been picked off a time or two, and they haven't been able to pick up a kill, but that one off the floor, they immediately get rid of a power player. Darling gets traded after finding List Me, so no extra smokes to help them get to site, and then you have Thigby already traveling on a very long flank. So if you're the side of Cash Money, you got to get to the site, establish control, but it feels like they're just getting read out, and now they're getting cornered.
Huge issues ahead here, but still plenty of time on the docket for them to figure this one out. At least for now. Thigby off of the back rotate could come up paying big here for Cash Money if they don't get on this point quick enough. And Penta with a wall banger is going to be making this one a little bit, we'll say, more secure for the Steppers here.
Got the Haunt going out. They're going to see if they're in that corner. It immediately gets shot, and so really no big information, but the biggest information is that Thigby gets to tell them they're not rotating. That spike is wide open at Tetris right in front of Stark. Maybe they can be able to get a pop kill from outside of the smoke once it drops down. Kind of give themselves away for now, but I mean, you're just stuck in the shower position. You don't even get to use your camera. You know they're right around the corner, and then you get grasped. Justin cleans them up. Warrior versus the world.
Already a couple of bangs coming out there from the side. One stray bullet would be but the end, and the Rock Dude, especially trained as has been, is more than enough to give this one back over the Big Stepper. So the minute we see the buys come out here, they are already in the driver's seat, and notably, it comes at the cost of no major tools of utilization. We still have the Nightfall and Empress on and ready to go. This time around, though, finally, Jet, Blade, Storm off of the other side, the Neural Theft as well. It's not completely done and out yet. We talked about that duelist change, that position of aggression that Cash Money have actually been taking really nice advantage of, and this is something where they can continue to build upon that.
Get out of my way.
They don't have the same kind of neon to have to deal with every single time that they're walking into sight. You will see the fake out get used early. That runs the teleporter. Gotta wonder if they walk right behind it because Justin is in fact hanging out. This is on a cross. Darling has a judge, and as soon as they get fast off of the brim stem, now they're putting some extra shots, but the TP allows them to go away. Very hurt, and yet the Blade Storm finds Penta. Justin with a couple though, as they get him from right outside of this defensive side spawn, and now the spike is trying to travel back, but Thigby's holding this other pathway outside market.
Really good. The rotations from Thigby these last 2 rounds have been superb at controlling the pace of play here, and now Stark, the only full, I was about to say full, not even full health member, both of them looking particularly low, trying to retake for B here could come at its own cost, and I mean, perfect wall up there.
So tough to cross. You're still going to give up the decay. Justin has basically a free Cypher to kill, but they don't see the timing.
They didn't see it.
Oh my goodness, they're so focused on the hookah, and that could give them a chance to just find him off this angle. Stark for another one off the wall bang. It's a 1v1 Neural Theft. They're going to be able to get this plant down, see where the glow comes through. They know they're on that defensive side. Stark versus Thigby, and they're about even in terms of HP, not armor. How can Stark take advantage? Oh my goodness, that peek is so weird.
Needs to clutch it up and finds it in the last moment. Only 20 health to Stark's name. It has been an insane switch up throwing him onto the Cypher this time around, and now 11-4 for the lead. They are keeping it as even as it gets, Monkey.
Oh yeah, and Stark really, they had been the beneficiary of a couple of late-term ultimates that have really given those final kills for a few rounds, but they did not let those opportunities for success go to waste, and in fact have really been the mark for success for this squad of Cash Money. 11-4 right now, keeping this team tied, keeping them in the game, and maybe even potential to finally get themselves a lead for the first time in either of these games. They're aiming for some aggression over in a U-Haul, but let's see if Window Liquor can be able to lead the way themselves.
Double brim smokes down there. The extension is Darling coming from Uchoke. Will pick up an early 2. Stark, notably being one of them, and the Rock Dude would have been pick off of the boxes, means that this round is just absolutely being peeled apart from the likes of Big Steppas, and it's crazy how insanely different the quality between some of these rounds can be for the likes of Cash Money.
It's always built off of that initial pick potential too, because
yeah.
I mean, as soon as you got rid of Stark, I mean, it was in combination with Darling not getting first picked, and then you have such a healthy Big Steppa group.
Yes.
Darling was I mean, they had what? The other 5 of the 10 first bloods that were between them and Thigby when it came to Haven. Now walking into this map, they have been taken out much more often than not, and there's been reliance on Justin instead, along with Thigby and their long-form flanks, to have the kind of pressure to force Cash Money to maybe make mistakes or not.
And honestly, if you just see a little bit more extra respect from Darling, it changes the pace of this one completely. Once again, heavy takes off of the short side of A here, pushing forward. Look to hunt down Justin in the end, just barely cutting out a dodge there off the flash. Make this one out, gives that one away, and can't quite capitalize on the blink. You have too much supportive staff. And now it's a complete full setup for A. Bit of the peek over on the edge as Warrior will find 2 with just the Sheriff in hand. Justin finally able to pick up 1 in response. And with Thigby off of the side rotate here, once again, we are getting to see the highlight of how effective this has been for the likes of Big Steppas.
Yeah, Thigby, just, you cannot read them ever, and you never know where they're going to be coming from. It feels like they are actually switching site every single round. You never know when they're going to come through on that proper rotation. And shout out to Warrior, because they had a couple off of that Sheriff, and I thought suddenly that they were going to be turning that just way up. We have a lot of ultimates, though. I think that's what you were kind of wailing at.
Look at Darling.
Oh my goodness, that's true.
All right,
operator.
what's the setup?
Okay.
What's the setup here? That's the Unbind of all places going to be trying to play for A side. This is something that could, well, absolutely come up big for Cash Money, or could be a huge boom in what might be their take.
It's you and me.
On the take, already with the dimensional drift here. Justin going to be giving away so much information. Darling with the 1. Woo! The orbital strike barely cuts the edge as Justin now from behind, making big on these flanks here. It's going to be Listening stuck in the U-choke with Spike ahead.
Flawless round. You saw the pick potential, and Darling wanted to follow up, and they got a couple off of the big old boomstick. So, Operator comes in online. Cash Money, they end up with a lot less Cash Money to walk into this final round with. You'll see a full buy out of Stark, but they're the only one. Everyone else trying to figure out what in the world the bargain bin has for them. And Justin, perfect use of the dimensional drift, recognizing, all right, if we got the Operator there, let's see if we even have picks or you can rotate early, and everyone was present, ready for the 50 cal bullet.
Now setting up into this one, Stark, point away there from the neural, could be absolutely huge. Already, though, a big investment here from Fade on the Nightfall. Doesn't quite represent much, but it guarantees them that they know A is the place to play.
Paranoia comes through, gonna create some nearsightedness. Rock Dude and Justin finding massive picks. They use it off the floor, and Justin just instrumental and surgical off of this Yoru. Trying to go 8-4 for this first half. You only have 2 left to go for Cash Money.
There it is. Already picking up the 1. Don't even have to invest the tools at hand. And while it isn't as dominant for Big Step as this time around, 8-4 is still an incredible lead to walk into a switch up here. Now, notably, we talk about defensive setup, and with such a heavy involvement regarding the duelist this time around here, I mean, you're playing off of just a handful of things, especially between Cypher and Brim for Cash Money coming into this.
Yeah, seeing how Cash Money does have at least a nice kind of senti to really kind of pivot on. You have a similar attribute off of Viper, especially with their unmoving talk screen and the poison orb as well. But this kind of setup off of Stark with how just impactful they were off of some of their individual skirmishing. A lot of people expect Cyphers to go to B to start. With this A start, it's nice, but talk screen, they have to be respectful of it, because if you don't, they're just gonna walk on through. The fact that they find 2 big kills, Justin and Darling popping off early to clear the way through Hookah, leaving only 1 remaining, but Lesme finds an answer and Thigby goes down.
This is a huge, at least, start here now. Now pushing through over towards the defensive side. The Haunt picked away there above, and from above will be Darling, representing with 1 final pick before their end. It is left up to a single setup from Warrior here on this ISO.
Spike planted.
Now you have 2 very hurt agents. You gotta find where in the world Penta is.
Focusing.
To have that double tap. That shield doesn't last that long. They hear that from distance, so they know to keep their distance, and everyone is all kind of collectively together into Garden, knowing that they either have long or they're going to be coming right up into Tube. That shield is going to deplete, and now you've got just Warrior versus 3, and that's a lot of pistols to have to take.
Holding corner there, nothing but a final attempt at a peek leads to the Rock Dude with the initial one, and now with attackers up here and not many drops in response, Cash Money are gonna have to play for eco, which means you're only starving yourself potentially what could be these few rounds you have ahead of you off of what you need to be a win.
Lucky Gaming out of Justin. I've seen that before on plenty of Yoru and a couple of Vandal buys. Now that is aggressive. If this one goes sideways, that is some fresh weaponry for Cash Money to pick up, but they are going full save. Couple pieces of util if they can, so everyone cloistered up into either pipe or U-Haul. Have to be ready for the fist fight, but there's a lot of guns about to be pointed their way.
Darling already up on the height there, peeking cross. 1 for 1 is Justin, unable to really come up big, but in the end allows for the full take of A. And I mean, we're already wrapping this one up. Lesme just completely picked apart there, as it is just a full send of aggression from Big Steppas.
Yeah, that was RKOs and elbows being thrown off ropes and everything that you could find. So, love seeing a Bucky actually find value as well. Shout out to Justin, who will carry that over, by the way, onward and overward for their bonus round. And the rest of the Vandals actually stay in hand. So, a key buy-up for Cash Money. It cannot be understated, I think, Zephyr, that if this doesn't go the right way for Cash Money, we could see this one swiftly snowball and tumble out the door for them, and maybe an exit before the semis.
But Window Liquor will make good on, once again, one of those early picks we talked about. Darling does get the full send on reading the positions here. It will be a full take of A, but this could be really, really good. Warrior on this ISO already looking for at least set up on the retake, and with Justin down, they're not as good of a position as you might think, even if they've already got Spike planted.
They got a triple flank coming in through this, by the way. 1 through short and then shower. Warrior, they heard someone drop. They know it's not boxed. Oh, and then they end up just kind of walking it in. So, see if they can get anything done. It's a 2v1. Thigby looking to be the hero. They put the snake bite out. Oh, man, I love the swift call. And the snake bite doesn't hit. He's just going to stick it. Going to try and get it through box, but it's planted too deep into the middle of truck. They may get an exit frag, but no. Lesme gets 1 bonus, the and 1 for Cash Money. But did they invest just enough? Everyone else fell. Only 1 gun persisted.
That's the hard part. You want to come out strong off of those eco rounds, and instead you knew it was going to be a full buy from Big Steppas, even if you come off the win. Now in a setup where it's responsive, but we're talking Guardian for Guardian off of Liquor and Jitter. I mean, it's not quite the setup, especially more notably with the armor there. That's going to be so difficult. 1 bad peek doesn't always mean the end.
Love how Thigby still always makes things difficult for Cash Money to have to deal with, even when they're on just 20 HP. I think that's the 2nd time we've been singing those praises. Darling, early peaks. They did not clear at least that near side corner. It won't really matter. They're going to see that Tripwire actually get them caught out. And Stark is just hanging on, shorty and all. They come out of the cyber cage, the 1s and 0s, and now the neural theft will tell everything on this map.
Set up over on the side. Thigby once again picking up with now a 2 for there. Got peeked out, but still managed to at least ego the sense of Lismi. Puts this back to a 3 for 3 there as Darling now with their own sense of peek, something that we've been waiting for. Make this so hard. Watch Thigby already peeking around the corner there. Doesn't quite set up. Now 1 for 1 again.
Ooh. 4K, Jitter, barely know her, and they're shaking in their boots, but not with fear. It's excitement as Cash Money is able to string together a couple of big wins, and suddenly, where do we find ourselves, Zephyr? It's with Big Steppas having to make a choice, because they either eco here, I'm thinking Sheriffs, maybe some Stingers and Light Shields, or they could just have the weird Walmart bargain bin buy, and Cash Money, full kit. You're gonna have the Seekers online for Jitter as well after getting that previous 4K, and they're actually one off from the Orbital Strike for Lismi, which would be a great post-plant hold.
Empress always available. Remember, every one of these initial picks that they get is a representative picking up, whether it be things like that Vandal ahead. So, have to be super safe. The Seekers, I personally think maybe a bit too early there. Still the option for some heavy rotates from Big Steppas.
No, they're in front of them at least, and that'll help out. No, at least midterm rotates for the time being as Window Liquor was up on top of Truck. First pick goes down, and that's gonna be a second found by Liquor as Thigby gets caught out. Oh, hoping to get rid of the tripwire. Stark has no one to tag. Sad Camera will wag its head, but they're now just losing player after player. At least they got that one trade.
Remember, this is a bit more eco-centric for the likes of Big Steppas, so already one is potentially good here. Taking their time towards the side of Showers could potentially pull off some very silly rotates ahead here.
Molly thrown out just to slow anyone down from out of Showers, and you will now have the Viper's Pit. So, even in a 2v4, an Empress that could get popped, Darling could play with that Orbital Strike. They're going to try and stomp this one out. They forced them out, and even with a Classic, it pays off. Jitter will cover down as Thigby and Darling fall. What a great counterplay. That giant space laser clearing the way from the Gak Goo Pit, and that allows Cash Money to find a third.
It's a good one, but it is one that we expected, at least in the favor of Cash Money here. Now set up for buys, and remember, weren't really investing much past the Viper's pick. You still have things like the Defense Shoulder Drift, of course, available in the Empress alongside that Nightfall, making for what could be a much more secure take. Notably, it is going to be Warrior, 1 point away from that kill contract. We know it's practically a guarantee when it comes to the wipe. Okay.
Rock Dude with the first pick, and that's huge considering that Window Liquor has been really finding their stride a time or two. Justin peels out of that beyond the dimension too early, and the Brimstone gets popped, but it's just so easily read, especially when you leave it from beyond and outside of lamps. Darling with a couple, and this is starting to really go sideways for Cash Money. They've been catching up. Bridesmaid, Never the Bride, Big Steppas, making sure they can't even see the ring.
Ooh. This could be a nice take on Rock Dude and crew here. Thigby just not covering the rotate from U-Choke there as Penta picks up one. Darling with the peek on the side does at least make for a full secure from Big Steppas in the end. Fact of the matter, though, we still see some nice investment not utilized. Notably, it will be that contract online for Warrior, but still a lot of really nice special opportunities in play for the side of Big Steppas, especially looking good on their eco. Getting to the point here, Monkey Man, just a few rounds ahead, and while it has looked tighter this time around, they still haven't stopped the Steppas.
No, not yet. No, they've tripped them a time or two, but it's just enough to have them look down, fix their heel, and get right back to stepping. 11-7. I want to see if they end up bringing out that Nightfall to clear some space, especially into this lamps section. Cash Money, they could do the same thing, at least in opposite, but that's going to be off of the Bunky. Tight angle, they clear the shield, and then the nice follow by Darling. What a 1-2 combination.
This is as aggressive. It gets peeking the corner here. Will at least find the one. It is left up to Jitter to pick up the 4. We've seen it happen, but instead this time barely misses the wrong peak off the side of Justin. And now we are 1 round away.
It's been a tougher fight here for Cash Money. They've been able to get beyond 14 rounds, but the 20th here in map number 2 of this best of 3 may be where they ultimately fall Bulldog, Guardian, Phantom, oh my. Some rifles at least to bring in to where they might ultimately be ended. Big Steppas, super strong. They could definitely just kind of walk in, Empress, Nightfall, and just be that nightmare here in spooky season.
Yeah, literally everything served on a platter, and they're not even forced to use it. They've got so many rounds to capitalize here for Big Steppas now after a couple of serious successes. The Brim Smokes will make Hookah a bit more difficult, already giving things away. We will see notably, though, the Nightfall come out here. Distance ahead, Stark and Jitter still find the two.
Oh, they get caught from behind. Off of that quick gate crash. Warrior's able to at least find one. 3v2. Can they land those shots? Warrior ends up doing so, enlist me! They use the Nightfall, and they march onto site, but immediately are met at the gates by Cash Money as they just deny them from being able to take over. It was a lot of skirmishes. They went to that elbow position, but they weren't ever truly in control. And hey, you know what? If you're looking at the Nightfall, the best sense that you have left is your sight. Shout out to Stark for at least getting that early in the opening pick.
Something there from Thigby pointing out Justin. Something might have happened with the aura there. Not quite sure what it was as we were jumping around off of those POVs pretty quickly. In the end now, you're left up to just the Empress. Not quite a pressure in the eco this time around. Still looking for heavy pushes towards the A. Out through the wall there. Will already be set up upon site. The Roxy down on one. Stark a peek over on the edge. Keeps it equivalent. Full rotates now all the way through.
Where is everyone?
Both clone and original Yoru go down in succession, and you do have the Molly that tries to trip him up at the plant. In fact, that Spike is still trying to navigate its way. Penta getting caught from behind. Rock Dude finds a third, and then the fourth. In finality, Warrior will go to the bench, and so will the rest of Cash Money as Big Steppas 13-8. In that second game, they kept it so much closer there, Zephyr, but ultimately they fall by the wayside, and it will be Big Steppas. They'll be going to that semifinal.
Already on their way ahead here, we talk about how even is. You get to take a look at this board. Darling, maybe not as star-studded this time around. Justin having to really fulfill that role alongside the Yoru, but hey, big switch-ups. Window Licker off the Jet really never getting the time to go here. Instead, it was Jitter and Stark. It's sad that we won't get to see their story continue. As reminder, you have to get semifinals and above to potentially win that second opportunity at a matchup.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him, but we will have some semifinals coming up in just a little bit. Shout out, though, to both of these squads, and if there was ever a team that I was going to trust to try and at minimum have a chance for third place, it's the state's third place finishers in Big Steppas. Northwest Guilford, they got that in the May time frame this year, so I want to see if they can do at least that and maybe more going into the next, but they'll be going into Team GOAT for their semifinal. I mean, I think you said earlier, didn't they drop to GOAT in the previous group stage? Okay.
Yeah, so this is a setup for them that they'll have to learn from. Notably, on the other side of the bracket, though, we are already seeing some successes. D-Block Steppas, in commonality with the name a little bit here, they themselves with a 2-0 win to send themselves to semifinals. They are notably Ardry Kell, our second place leaders coming off of our early wins in springtime. So still deciding what we see out of potentially the likes of Pineapple, Piers, and Centuries. That'll be likely the match that we're streaming here on VESL.
Yeah, we'll get to see that in just a little bit. So in case you guys want to see some more of the Valorant VESL Yearly Cup and all these awesome programs and these students be able to find themselves some points as well as maybe some extra stuff to find on the Knotwork, you'll want to stick around. But myself, Monkey Man, and Zephyr will be back in just a little bit with more Valorant action right after this.
Welcome to the Varsity and Esports STEM League, where high school students can compete in video games and STEM pathways, allowing them to win prizes and build life-changing opportunities. VESL helps guide students towards discovering their career pathways in and after high school by engaging them in fun, competitive competitions that build real-life skills such as problem-solving, teamwork, and accountability. VESL began just 2 years ago with a handful of Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. Now, VESL is supported by the entire state with over 200 schools and 3,000 active students. With no expensive requirements to participate, VESL makes itself the most accessible esports and STEM league in North Carolina. The league is even accessible to students who only have access to a phone through our Knotwork platform. Students interested in esports will have the chance to compete against other schools across the state, showcasing their skills during a 7-week regular season leading into regional playoffs and a state championship. This fall season will offer Rocket League, Overwatch 2, College Football 25, and Super Smash Bros. In a season-long competition. Not interested in those game titles? Well, no worries. We have all sorts of exciting tournaments and casual game nights happening throughout the season as well, featuring over 30 game titles. Registration for the fall 2024 season is now open and will close on September 20th. Seeding for teams will also take place on September 23rd, and the regular season begins on September 30th. The season will end with the state championship taking place later in the fall. VESL will share more details soon as we get closer to the main event. On top of all that, we present the VESL Yearly Cup. With a focus on players' versatility and adaptability, VYC features 8 standout esports titles that form an integrated competition lasting the entire school year. This fall 2024 season's VYC features Apex, Valorant, Fall Guys, and Brawlhalla. Each game will impact the overall rankings with a cumulative scoring system determining the final top 3 performers at the end of the school year. We will also be holding several events prior to the official league season, including our Super Smash Bros. Draft Clash and Fortnite. Keep a lookout on socials for more details to come about VYC. VESL also offers a STEM league geared towards teaching students valuable skills and rewarding them for their achievements. STEM players compete during a regular season in various topics, rotated through an 8-week schedule, giving students valuable exposure to STEM fields like engineering, agri-tech, game development, and more. Competitions are broken into bite-sized, self-paced challenges where students learn real-world skills and tackle challenges in a flexible time frame. All of this supported by online resources and guidance from our STEM coaches. Players earn rewards upon completing competitions, with each student participating individually and contributing to their school's overall performance. Teams compete against other high schools across North Carolina, with top performing teams advancing through the season to an in-person championship where teams can earn some awesome prizes. The STEM season will begin on September 26th and run through November 21st. Registration is now accessible through our new learning social platform, Knotwork. Knotwork is an innovative platform that leverages technology to meet high school students where they are and takes them where they want to be. This includes an all-in-one location for leaderboards and stats throughout our competitive season, innovative ways to connect with STEM, and much, much more. Once students have grown in their network by interacting in the social experience, they can earn a chance to access a brand new experience coming soon to the Knotwork app. Representatives from VESL will connect with students and teachers to help with registration and answer questions about the season. We're excited about everything new and are thrilled to make this the best VESL season yet.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Valorant VESL Yearly Cup. I'm Hail Monkey Man in the booth alongside Zephyr as we are getting into our semifinals. Quarterfinals out the window. Never heard of them. All those results in the books, but now we're looking in the windshield towards what we have left. Our very first one was kind of a dominant feature, even though there was some catch-up that was occurring. Ultimately, it was a 2-0 sweep by the Big Steppers out of Northwest Guildford. They took down CCTL Early College, and now we move ourselves over into the other side of the bracket. We're going to see a mash 'em up between the Sentries and D-Block Steppers.
Now, notably, this is going to be a setup that both of these rosters are coming off of in a 2-0 lead. But notably, they do come from the same group. It was just this other day that we saw D-Block Steppers beat the Sentry 0-0 in a best of one.
Yeah, so this is going to be now full series play, and we are starting off onto one of the maps that made its way back into the competitive rotation. We're going to Pearl, to some people's chagrin and to some people's actual grin. We get to see this one. You know, it's one of the few that I remember from, like, I think junior year. Either way, this is going to be interesting because Pearl is making its way back into the rotation. Very duality of man, if you will. And for the moment, I'm seeing a little gamer floating on Gecko, and most recent changes have made them both better and worse, depending on your kind of your point of view on the subject.
I mean, it's not completely set up yet. Choice is actually not really locked in for just about anyone outside of Range, sitting on the Neon. Everyone else feeling out exactly what it feels like, how aggressive they want to get, especially looking towards the side of Sentries, deciding on who sets themselves up as initial duelist there.
So range will have, I guess, a chance to kind of respond, especially defensively. But now everyone's getting locked in. Seeing a deadlock work its way onto Pearl is going to be a new one because we've really seen reliance on killjoys and ciphers, especially for the most part. Especially if you find those sniping duels on chambers. But now they're going to be holding with those mesh walls as well as the sonic sensors to try and slow down the hot movement. But they're going to be the ones setting up for it post plant wise. Gecko is locked in on one side and maybe a little bit more traditional on the side of D Block. In case you guys didn't know, D Block is Ardrikel, the team that came in second place in state championships this year. So maybe they're going to be bringing something to flex into. That Astra is most telling to me.
Yeah, that's something that we've seen at least stick around in terms of playing on the defensive end there. Notably, we do see a couple swap-ups, but the Gecko does inevitably land towards Bronny James. I was looking at that one potentially as well, but they opt to play it there. So we'll see how that ends up.
Let's see what we kind of walk into. So in difference of this, you still have the double duels on both sides. We're going to get our singular smoker. You got the difference of the more dynamic smoking that you can get out of an Omen versus an Astra, which is kind of micro gaming off of a lot of extra stars. You get an extra star these days, so a lot more utility to kind of work with and a lot more options. And they're kind of a partial sentinel, much like a Viper can be, but that Killjoy setup is going to be primarily on A. That is where traditionally many Killjoys like to play, and where the sentries out of, I believe, yes, STEM early college looks like they're going to be crashing in too.
Well, we haven't really gotten a great idea of STEM early college in their previous play. They were not part of our earlier seasons here, so could potentially be a wash. It has been at least big leads for D-Block Steppers coming out of the group stage, but we both know that changes things up whenever you enter into a true best of 3.
Ives trying to hold on to this middle Tetris position. They're going to actually put out the swarm grenade, and that's going to cause a lot of pressure, especially because of the early entry. But now it's a sentry turret kill as they get rid of full fountain, trying to put out the paranoia, and off the TP, everyone going looking for them. They actually catch them off the flank, but none of those shots land. Ives will get the finish on to Give wins, and that's going to be a win given over to Ardrikel.
Just an absolute cluster there on the A block as we take a look at what the eco begins to set itself up there. Of course, a more saving position for the likes of Sentry here. Bit of a unique buy, though, I'm starting to see come out here. Deep pockets for Illness with the Phantom in hand this early, taking advantage of the 2 pickup there, and hopefully it pays off because that, I mean, if they lose out on this one, I mean, we're talking about a big windfall for them that have to survive.
And don't let that weapon change hands too readily either. Bronny James also with that outlaw in this position, that's a massive pick potential, especially into being an eco slayer. But it's Illness who already finds massive value off of an early pick. Now it's onto the deadlock. There's not a lot of pressure made from that utility, but Illness is going to hold this close sentry especially. But look at Full Fountain looking to do the same, so they cannot peel out into Plaza.
Already putting a lot of really good respect there on the weaponry. With that smoke down, you got to be careful. Full Fountain, even if at a disadvantage in terms of the damage profile, I mean, could be at least, jumped upon so quickly here. Really nice hold, but B side completely left open, or my apologies, really good defense on B side. A completely left on the side of Killjoy, really putting down preferential, at least defense off of ability setup. Finally, Illness with this peak does end up on the 10th line, and that's the thing. You just don't have the damage to boot.
Even off of a right click, it's just not going to happen. You have 2 separate smokes, one with the Nebula and the dark cover coming through, but they're going to sneak their way, or they were trying to, from this art position. They're hoping to flex. The spike goes down, and just better weapons, better pizza. Oh, just popping them. As Illness with a 4K, hoping for the ace. They're going to call out where Give wins is. Same corner. They'll get the right click onto Illness as they exit, but Eyes versus Give wins, another ending feature.
Bit of a shame there in the end. It comes at the cost, but this is a big and early Empress now available for the like of Illness. Doesn't even lose out on the weaponry. Phantom's back into play almost immediately, but this could be that full buy setup here now on the returning edge. And the likes of them, triple Vandal off of the double Phantom there. Even the shielding not looking too bad. This is potential returns for sentries as always, as I swear if you throw that gun one more time.
Or so help me. Give wins, knowing that they've been the final kill both the previous rounds. They're hoping to find something massive here, but range I mean, if you're good on your shots, that's all you need off of Guardian. You don't need some spam. And now, with a nice, at least 140 HP bullet, Give Wins is already down to their final 10, and they're gonna try and press this one out. That is a triple blind. Can't quite land more than that. They were hoping for a bit more pressure off of their teammate, but they didn't swing with them.
It's good damage, and Illness boosted from the other side are going to pick up the remnants of this one off of that initial push there. I mean, just completely closing in club side. I mean, that is absolutely decisive. And now, it's a really tough situation for the likes of Sentries here because it only gets worse sitting on Judges in hand. I would say in hand, but it seems like they always seem to be up in the air. And now, just a single Phantom in the likes for Vacant. Ares across the board, taking their chances. We'll see how it works out. I was the only one still set upon keeping it cheap.
Build up some extra creds. Spread the old allowance around to their buddies. So can't blame them with 3-0, and that's going to be an eco break and a bonus round win for D-Block Steppas. So the Knights of Ardrikel in that same vein, holding this defense down. And Pearl is a tough clam to kind of peel open because you have to be able to get through these big funnel points. The run it back is going to be used. Curveball comes out. Givewins already gets a nice judge kill onto Boosted, and they're going to find at least the clone out there. Can they get it off the spam and spray? I'm staying alive.
That's just crazy. Not respecting the pressure a Killjoy can bring, even just to a single point held alone. The reason why they separate like this. As a result, the rest of the D-Block Steppas are quick to assume an aggressive position there. You can see them come in from that defender spawn, and in the end now puts Sentries probably in their worst position yet. Buying potential even with that, consistent loss benefit is nowhere close to where they are. You can already see what might be a full save there from Vacant and Give Wins if they aren't going to pick something up before this round. Armor, yeah, I mean, you can see a little bit of wins, but this is tough.
Thank you to our observer who keeps switching over to Give Wins, who has quickly become my favorite player on the entire map with the way that they are practicing for Cirque du Soleil and juggling. Give Wins, though, they did at least get that one pick off of Boosted from that plaza position as they tried to employ the flank. Something that really has not been found in these first few rounds, except for save one. But 4-0 and D-Block Steppas, Arsenal diff, and winning diff so far. And Sentries, I mean, this is a tough funnel point. If you don't have anyone else putting pressure, Give Wins he's doing it on the other side of Plaza. They could pivot off of that, and it looks like they're going to try to.
But he catches him out. Illness really good off the corner, clearing there, takes out mid shops in Prefer, and now with this forced rotation will inevitably end up picking off Illness there, but a rotate from the back as Boosted should have picked up the catch there.
Oh, unready for the extra swing. Full Fountain finds them. So Sentries into this 3v3. Trying to be equal. They do at least have a shorty ready to go, but Vex will be vexed by Bronny James. Just not letting them at all take advantage of that position.
Just absolute absurd timing off of that one. Should have not come out clear like that. Mind you, even if they do make the push on a beat here, they are set up for defense. Full Fountain with a really nice response there on James. Doesn't get much better. Like I said, waiting for this peak. Ives there, able to find full picks ahead. And with 14 seconds to go, it's move or be done here.
Team Ace.
Caught. Like I said, just waiting for that moment range on the other side.
I think they threw their wingman as far as they possibly could. I was expecting that plant to happen so much closer, but he just kept kind of using those little wobbly jelly legs and waddled straight onto sight. So far, not great for a couple. Obviously, you're not going to get a ton of value, I think, out of your deadlock on this Sentry position. Oh my goodness. Okay, so if we can't juggle, we just attack the Fern. Is that what we're doing?
No, I will say, just checking the eco here. Worst time to pick B. Worst time. Brian James now set up with op in hand on long. Covered as well. They're going to actually rotate now through mid plaza. I mean, set up on the other side. Boosted's happy to pick up some free kills.
Illness waiting from just beyond the stars. Okay. Vacant knows exactly where they can sit. They're gonna have to land this shot as close as they can, but off this top angle, you do have the one-way already set up from this Nebula. And again, just playing in counter to the curveball. Illness getting a bit too aggressive. They're gonna have a couple weapons to pick up.
set up on the other side. They're now
Last
caught from
player
behind. It's
standing.
but a single smoke that prevents it. Called out and down their range. Finishes the job for a 6-0 lead.
Remember, bullets hurt.
A little bit of body blocking. All right. Obviously, I think that sentries need to be able to kind of pull out a timeout. Just play some macro game. You had talked about the operator. There's so much confidence. Illness is 13-4. Ives
They don't
and
know
range.
about it yet, too, by the way.
They don't even know. It didn't have to get used, but Ives and range have yet to die as well. 13 shots between them, no deaths.
This is a huge issue. Huge issue ahead. B now, once again, like I said, covered along, could potentially be a very easy pickup if not covered. Illness already dropping the Empress. We could see on the opposite side here, going to be the Bladestorm from Vacant. Even still, that peak is so far away, and Illness already making good on that Empress.
Empress is good for the entire round as long as they stay alive. No longer has that timer to it. Now with Bladestorm popped up, Vacant hasn't picked up a kill as of yet, and they're hoping that their ultimate will be able to get it.
There it
Bronny
is.
James, can they get at least something? A few more blades left in the old drawer, and they're going to be left there. Already just down to your Deadlock, who feels like they're just down dead and dusted. Added to the kill column. Illness. They were good for a couple in that round, and it's 7-0. Ardrikel doing Ardrikel things.
I genuinely could not have expected that one to be as clean, but remember, that is eco setup right there. We don't see heavy investment from Sentry. Things like the run it back, as well as the Annihilation, of course, from the Shadows and alongside Thrash as well, are still present here, and now with full buy potential, we should start to see them come online. If they lose this round without taking advantage of some of those windows here, you're pretty much giving away this defensive half to D-Block Steppin'. So it's this round or nothing.
And this is the choice of D-Block, as Ardrikel has done their homework on old maps being brought back. Full Fountain, they were able to use their running back, I think, round 3 or 4 or so. And they got them some extra intel last time, and it looks like they want to utilize that. They're going to be told they're going to be protected, but Illness is going to flex away. So not finding anyone nearby in that stair funnel. So the Thrash will come out. So they have a couple of ultimates to really combine and stack together, and they will.
Vacant on this separated push through mid plaza, like you said, right back. It's mostly just information there. Not quite a cost, as Illness does find that side rotate mid plaza and get wins. Wall does pick up a car. Range has been more than happy to get involved, taking advantage of the overdrive.
Overdrive just far more powerful than some give it credit for. I don't know why. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do
What?
Don't.
Why?
Don't.
Why?
Okay.
Just cause they could, I guess, right?
They can. They don't care.
They'll get it back in 4 more rounds, I guess.
Oh, double
What a flex.
up. Very cool. Very cheeky.
10-1. Range and Ives finally fall. Illness continues to look like they're giving everyone an illness as they're all wobbly-legged. Remember, loser of this series will have at least a 3rd place match tomorrow. Winner of this series will be going into the grand finals. We're all in the first set of it. But so far, D-Block looking like they brought their running shoes and they're kind of sprinting through the sentries.
Once again, off that push towards A. Last time around, Ives not quite as defensive in terms of the utility. Picked off by Give wins there. Sentries ahead, though. Get a lot more work than I expected it. Now, for the full push here, Ives smoke. I think he's pressured out.
Odin spray and spam eventually finds a trade, but that's 4 down, and all of your single Phoenix left to go. They fall just as quickly. All right, what do we make of that push? You had the TP onto middle stack, and I mean, they struggled to take out the sentry turret. Even so, it just felt like, okay, there wasn't like a post setup plan. Everyone is hoping to hold on to the corner walls and, you know, see what happens next.
Not to mention how quiet they've been on that B side. It just leads to a very, very quick step from D-Block as they are pretty much right there waiting. Even as Ives goes down with an incredible, mind you, return off of Give wins there, should not have been able to pick that up. I mean, the rest boosted so quick to find this other entrance, plays in from the side of Lincoln Tower, and it's just, that's it.
They're gonna have an Odin nearby with the operator. So got a hard spamming weapon and a single shot weapon, so Bronny James is gonna flex away from it. They
Stop
actually
it.
get two. They cannot get away from the death bullet.
Stop
That is
it.
a third. Go right into the ADS. Will he ace from an op? Give wins maybe the only one that just simply won't allow it. Bronny James giving 4 free kills.
At this point, I think the rest of the D-block steppers won't even fire a bullet. They'd be happy to walk into this. I just know that's how they play this one out. A little bit of the short range in hand. Finds response on the boosted, but a quick peek over the side says, sadly, no ace for Bronny James, but plenty of other implications at hand.
They are eating
That's
good.
true. Good advice.
You see your first player die to an op bullet, and I'm already thinking two things. We either have to flash or smoke, or we move away. We run away. I know we've not gone to B successfully, but we run away. Like, you can't just go straight back into the op.
Bronny James sets up on A instead this time around in preparation for what might have been the switch. That's going to leave full pressure on range alone on this site coverage. That actually could be pretty bad. Maybe a really nice response from the likes of Sentries, but already big rotation out on the other side. At least picks up the one. Class to be playing this very safe. Nice.
So stun off the angle. They're finding a third. Trying to pick up everyone in the stack. The Odin in the hands of Give wins. They're going to throw that paranoia. They got that sixth sense. They're going to have that teleport to the other corner. Do they know that they're just right around? No! Love that! And they're actually covered down by a little gamer, and suddenly it's a 2v2.
Still pulling away here, spike in hand, B off of coverage, but from the shadows means that it is going to be a clean initiation on A. Still though, 3 choices, Link, Flowers, Secret. These are all places to play through, as Secret will be the one invested by Give Back.
Last player
And
standing.
around the corner,
One
Bronny
enemy
James
remaining.
will be annihilated. It's up to Ives at hand to find the remnants of a little gamer and finish this one off.
They do have a lockdown if they want to employ that just to keep them off site, and they're gonna do that. So now, how aggressive do you play into this? Well, apparently you try immediately to do so. They're distracted by the giant snow globe, and Ives will get the defuse. Wait, hold on.
Imagine if I died.
Okay. I was about to say, you forgot what you were doing for a second there. But they came back, and they got it done.
Just, flex on it. Take your time.
Last
I
round
suppose.
before the
Operator
switch.
saved for Bronny James there. Will it be given away? No. Instead, another will be bought. Okay. Yeah, we're smart. We're figuring it out.
Look, I don't think macroeconomics is a class in high school. Or is it? Hold
It
on.
is. I took
It is?
macroeconomics in high school.
I didn't take it. I was dumb.
I took
So,
macro and
you know.
micro.
Wow. Which one was your favorite?
Macro. For sure. I still use a lot of that information today. I think it's a very important class.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Okay. Maybe I would have less tax fraud have to deal with if I actually took that class. Give wins, getting caught with util in hand, and now you've got the annihilation online. Does it catch any fish off of that long reel and yard? No. Full front, full fountain, rather. Gonna be caught, I think, by this thrash, but it pops a bit early.
Little too far forward there. Little Gamer's more than happy to go for the peek on the other side through the Astral defense there. And now set up in the biggest lead they've ever had. Love this return from full fountain. They don't know, but instead Ives with a quick peek on the other end. They clean up what could have been the first win.
Quick stun, just to enjoy it. 12-0 in the first half. Doing it one better than what we got to see from Northwest Guilford in our other quarterfinal on broadcast. So now, already on match point for the greater part of this entire second half as they just get on to their attack. This is gonna be, well, it's a tough one to say the least.
All right, well, I will say the closest round that I've seen is the pistol. It was incredibly chaotic coming into at least the first matchup here, and gosh, I
Who wants to hold the laser beam? Who wants the little laser pistol?
no one.
Apparently no one.
I anticipated Aspen.
No one at all. This is gonna be very aggressive. You're gonna have a Killjoy that's gonna be able to cover down your flank. Range should be able to just kind of sprint this straight into Elo misery. And Ardrikel wants to make this a fast draw. You're gonna have the dark cover go down. Givewin's gonna hold close CQC style combat. You're gonna use that stun. They do get paranoid, so everyone is a bit blinded out. And just as they TP away, well, they get thrown into the locker.
Down for 2 here, and with a plant coming through the other side, it's already set it.
One enemy remaining.
Oh. 4v1. And the knives are out. They may get gunned down, but Vex.
Just move together. There's no way you can lose this whatsoever.
Oh. Nah. 13-0. It will do one better. We don't have a 13-1. Ardrikel showing why they're second in the entire state of North Carolina, and they take that first map. Pearl was their pick. So far, first maps that have been openers and picks have been won by the teams that have been able to get them. So Zephyr, we see a dominant feature. Illness at 20-7 and 407 ACS. Can I say more?
Give wins. We almost had you there. Final comment of the match. Sets themselves up for now what will be game 2 Ascent. This time around, it will be a starting D-block defense for the like of this one. And to be honest, I mean, it looked fantastic coming off of game 1. It leaves me afraid. The only thing I can say is Pearl is Pearl. It is potentially a little bit fresh to the mind. At least Ascent, maybe more of a common topic.
Yeah, this one is going to be, I think, I guess the most measured you're going to find out of everyone. But we get to find out what that looks like and more. Even with the 13-0 being a bit of a sprint, we're going to go into a short break. This one could be the end of the road for the Sentries, but let's see if they can hold their plot of land just a little bit longer and force a game number 3. That'll be right after this as more of the VESL Valorant Yearly Cup will be back in just a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the North Carolina Varsity STEM State Championship! Let's go!
Manufacturing is one of those important pathways here at STEM, and we are going to get to see why it is such a unique and cool experience for the kids. These students have learned to utilize virtual wind tunnels to analyze how aerodynamics work with their cars and how they're redesigned for maximum performance in track. 3, 2, 1, launch! Oh, and racing. Let's go.
It's amazing. I spent so much time on this car learning about aerodynamics, and it's proving itself right now.
You just won your whole team gaming season.
Farming, it's a major industry of North Carolina, and ag tech is the combination of agriculture and technology. All of these teams across North Carolina, they learned about the technology of precision farming to optimize the outputs of their soil.
Up later with maybe some forklifts. Oh, they get caught on the front nose. It's exactly what my grandpa always told me to not mess with on the field. No. Percy and Project Man will collide with one another.
But right now, Harnett is trying to bring it back in the Bell Falls. He misses out on a massive opportunity. It's all over!
Victory will go to the Lions out of Harnett County. Congratulations.
I think my key was just teamwork and just Kenneth and Bill, all of us three just working together.
They did the work consistent throughout their entire harvest. Shout out to these young gentlemen.
Teaching entrepreneurship equips our youth with versatile skills that drive innovation and success across all industries. Skills like business and project management, adaptability, strategic thinking, marketing, and networking have all been learned through our online curriculum and competitions. Teams have been competing throughout the regular season by managing a startup, adapting to market changes, and diversifying their portfolio before advertising their products in a simulated auction event, which they will be doing today. Students are presenting artwork that they created over the season, marketing it through the event, and auctioning it off to a live audience.
We decided to go on with a planet because we are here to show that with new technology, the sky is not our limit anymore.
It's coming down to the wire. It's about 2, 1, and there it is.
Game Dev 200.
This trance-like state occurs when the game's difficulty matches a player's skill. The flow state Absolutely, yes, you totally got it right. 900 points. We are giving the win to Carver High School. They are getting the esports arena at their school.
Right there in the middle. Hey!
Welcome back, everyone, as we go into the VESL Valorant Yearly Cup. I'm Hal Monkey Man in the booth alongside Zephyr as we go into game number 2 here for this best of 3 semifinal. Zephyr, it was a 13-0 to start things off. Pearl was a wild one. It felt like, obviously, with it being welcomed back into the map pool, that one team was definitely ready for it. It was the team that picked it, and that was D-Block Steppas out of Ardry Kell. We now go to Ascent. Seems like it will be stock standard. Everyone knows it, but that means definitely D-Block Steppas do. So if you're Sentries, you got to change the game.
It just felt really, really hard to make some impacts on Pearl that counted for the likes here of Sentries. You know, they never really were able to play through B-side, especially once Bronny James came online with things like that operator. It basically became a negligible option. And on the other side of things, you have the likes of Yives playing on this Killjoy, absolutely dominating coverage on A, and what did end up in a couple of heavy pushes just still didn't offer much sincerity to their game plan. So in the end, we take it to Ascent. Best chance, best opportunity, and already the picks are flying.
And Sentries will be on attack to start each and every single one of these maps. So if they are going to set the tone, it has to be now. And that's actually a problem for them because they are being ultimately disrespected. It is a 5 duelist pick on the side of D-Block Steppas, a little bit more stock sideways of standard from Sentries. They have the Omen and the Killjoy. The Fade is a bit of a niche kind of sideways slant out of Vex, but you have the Raze and the Phoenix, but it's 5 duelists. So this is going to be some land thievery by Ardry Kell.
We'll see if they're able to set themselves up here. Notably, already we see some pace of action from Sentries. We never really got a good identity of their action ahead.
Nice. In case you guys didn't know where this date is happening, it's just outside of Winery, and I encourage all of you to go check it out because this is Tacta-Bear and Tacta-Bunny, and you know what? They're just here having some lunch.
You know, just a little meal. Nothing super crazy there. I do want to shout a little gamer on that big bit later on, but already right off the bat.
Last player standing.
Wow.
Spike down
It's
A.
basically over.
Easy, man. There can only be one.
That's about as fast as a round 1 pistol can be. Except without everyone just jumping off the spawn cliff. So, D-Block Steppas. Obviously, Ardry Kell knows that they're at minimum the number 2 team in the entire state. And they are coming out here showing Sentries that they are exactly that, and that Sentries might have themselves a fun time playing for 3rd. But D-Block is here to play.
Already ready and out ahead there. You can see set up double Guardian. Stingy on the side there. Armor as well. It's pretty much a guaranteed nunts for the likes of the Sentries. Boosted with 3. A couple shotties on the other side, and they don't end up finding much of anything. You thought that first one was fast. Well, we speedrun the second.
Yeah, land speed records are being set in Valorant. I didn't even know that we were playing Sonic the Hedgehog. In fact, I need to go play their newest game. Okay.
By the way.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Have you seen like the little series that came out, the animated series? It was.
I did. Yes. If we're talking about the same thing, yes.
Well, I guess there was like 2 separate things. I don't mean the movie yet. I mean like
No.
the. Okay, yeah. Okay, good. Then we are. Look at that.
Okay, yeah.
I'm in the middle. Handshake.
That's good.
Yeah.
There you go.
It was awesome. Shadow is wonderful. I actually. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. We're gonna just have a knife fight. Yeah, it's happening. No, well, not quite. No, they just all running it down into the Ares. Where is the little Omen that could? We're following him. Can we find him?
He's shaking his head. No!
Please no.
Don't! Papa, please! Let me survive!
Bro must be so fun at parties. Oh, they went out for a knife fight. Everyone got mad. So
craziest thing happened. My cat ran over the keyboard. It's true. It's tough. Oh yeah. Oh, it's an ace.
Yep. Bronny James getting the ace. All right. Well. So okay, a little history for everyone. I got to do a charity tournament for some GC, which was pretty cool. That was an all duelist tournament. And it about went like this, what you're seeing, because you have to be ready for immense pressure, and basically whoever wins in the first 10 seconds will win that round.
Oh, I mean, there's still time on the board. I will say this is the first full true reset for Sentries here. This is where they can actually potentially invest their setup already. On out above, shot out there, a bit of a peek, nades off the back wall, no damage found even with the secondaries, and with the peek on the other side, full fountain, there you go, off the Brian James on the run back, hits him with the flames as well. Illness though showing up on right, makes this a bit different.
The speed run of this style and pace is really testing our observer as they have to find a full reload off a boosted, trying to be able to change between everyone. The overdrive comes online. Where in the world is the fade? You actually have Vex just waiting as long as they can, but they take an electric line to the face.
It's about as bad as it gets there. I don't know if the investment was completely necessary, but it almost looked like it was good. The take into A was clean. The setup was paced, but in the end, it's just, I mean, I hate to say it, a raw skill death. Illness set up ahead there, 1 point away from that potential Empress coming online. Everyone else definitely some rounds ahead as the run it back for Full Fountain, the only other notable topic at hand.
Full Fountain. They will have that run it back. What are they going to do with it? Everyone trying to receive here in Tile. They at least get one, maybe a second pick as they line them up with a dismissal off the original kill. Gives them a chance to run away from it. Bronny James will get some extra HP. Full Fountain in separation. It's a 2v4, but they own mid. And if you own mid on Ascent, you often own the game.
Set up now, completely split here on the map. Likes of Give wins on the other side. Full Fountain with a bit of a peek there.
Standing.
Tapped
Spike
from the
down,
other
attacker
side.
spawn.
Bronny James potentially setting himself up for his second ace.
Just observing the sky. Give wins, thinking about maybe something they could do differently this wonderful weekend. Gonna throw out the dark cover just to keep everyone guessing. A shorty to cover in this archway. They're answering their teammates' calls about where they might be and what they might do. And no one knows where in the world this Phantom might be standing. So,
Give wins
kind
says
of
not there.
Yeah, apparently no. Oh, they can get a free weapon though.
30 seconds of playing a game of
left.
cat and mouse here. Playing through mid. Will be spotted finally. I think that is it. Bronny James looking to hunt this one down. Be careful, but I'm gonna miss this.
Oh, get one. Uh-oh. Another ace. That's 2 here for Bronny James, who now has run it back and an Odin. Okay. Well, Zephyr, obviously we're seeing a team that they're feeling pretty good. They're feeling pretty dominant. 11-1 is Bronny James, and the rest of the squad is marching behind them to try and make this one a quick win.
This is set up, but you could see there, Vex, we got a kill. It is a game of inches when you're competing against Miles here. Mission complete. Let's see if they can pick up 2.
Onesies and twosies at a time. Full Fountain could use this curveball and be able to come on through. They just kind of hold down the left click, and that ends up working out for them. Hot hands to get them some extra HP, and they'll be covered down by a little gamer. A chance to be able to escape, but already running it up catwalk. Illness, who was so prolific in the previous game, will be able to combine with Boosted. And again, Give wins just buying themselves on the other side of the map.
And this time around, though, not as hidden. Spotted away Ives there. Nice blind on the other end. Teleports, though, right into the core of the knife. Unable to find it. Illness continues to clean it up in-house from mid. And that time around, it is 2 kills. 2. Yeah. It's an improvement.
All right, maybe a third, possibly
3.
a round.
No, hold on. Like I said, a game of inches here.
Okay.
Next up from 2 is 3.
How many inches are in a mile? Do you know this off the top of your head?
So it is...
You know the feet part? You know how many feet?
It is 5,280.
Yep. Okay. All right. All right.
So that would be So
lot of
that'd
math.
be 52,800 for 10 inches per foot. So 52, 2, 2, 5, 60, 560, 10, 50, 60. 5. I do it before the round ends. 63,360. Observers check me. 63,360.
You did it!
Really?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, I will say
right.
it's just doing. It is, if you know the feat, it's just doing it times 12. So it's not.
Well, right. Yeah.
It's not that crazy.
I mean, but still, you have to. Some people cannot math at all.
That's fair.
So, congrats, and you did it before the round ended.
I
So,
did.
Yeah. Okay. So done. All right. Game's done. So in a matter of inches, how many of those have they gotten?
3.
Well on their way. Bucky Gaming does not land. I think Bronny James killed a teammate. So there that went. Ooh. All right, this is devolving. It's already devolved. 3v2. D-Block Steppers in attacker side spawn, and a little gamer is able to stop boosted at the door.
Okay. A bit even. Spike planted. They know for a fact it's on A. This is one of the first setups we've gotten the chance to see, and particular even at that. 2 versus 2 here. Bronny on height. Odo misses the corner. Give wins. Should not be allowed to come a shotty ahead with that.
A little gamer right around the corner from Pablo. Their biggest dub if they can find it, but they won't. Illness versus Give wins. And a 4K, no wins to give, as they will taketh away. And Illness make sure to keep this a big old goose egg on the side of Sentries.
Even when they're playing around, toying with their food, as sad as it is, it's still a chain of dominance here from D-Block Steppers. And that one might rein it in a bit. You don't want to be, I know the inner machinations of the mind of some of these players. They're saying to themselves, oh, we almost dropped a single round. It can't happen.
That creeping sense of doubt. The seed has been planted, and now it could blossom into something poetically unjust of what we've seen in the first 4 rounds. And a Yoru close-up, really, that's what we deserve. That's all I ever deserved for Christmas. All 5 on the other side, range dies to Bronny James again via the hot hands. Ives just dropping in, dropping out, finding a 3K, couple headshots, maybe another one added to the collection. They don't get the ace. Bronny James, the only hero they need, off the curveball, and the showstopper for Vacant! That steals the round!
It isn't all but over. The chat is ignited. We got our one. It is a big dub for Sentries, and now they're set up to win the whole round. The whole match.
Oh. Yeah, it's over. You can't come back from this if you're Audrey Kell. It's done.
That right there, 6 inches.
Half a foot later, and that's all that Sentries need to be able to get themselves on the board. So we've got the kill contract for D-Block Steppers, but the Queen coming out with the Empress showcased on the defensive half. Range keeps dying to Bronny James. I am not sure what's happening at the beginning of those rounds, but it's wild.
Illness already with one. We talk about getting a little bit more aggressive. It's been peeling away piece by piece. Jumps behind the boxes in nick of time, but Full Fountain still picking it up.
Gonna have them coming on back from that kill contract. Bronny James eventually falls. Not an infallible, unkillable force. That spike is still directly in middle of arches, and Boosted and Ives know that this is near somebody. You got at least one underneath as hell off of the stun. They find him with Vandal, and Little Gamer's just kind of off in the corner. Oh, is he DC? Just
yes.
I thought this was something about a cross, you know? Oh.
Hide and seek with an AFK first.
They gotta find him. Unless... Yeah, I don't think that we want to stick in that corner anymore.
30
Little Gamer's
left.
literally right here. Hold on. Observers show us like how close that is to just... They could see them.
Instead, they're knife fighting. They're playing with their sprays.
a pixel more, and they would have seen them.
Just a little.
10 seconds
just
left.
A little bit over on the side. Oh, boosted.
Yeah, they found him. There we go.
Almost the king of hide and seek here.
Fight till the
9-1,
No matter
two
what.
more rounds to go. Can't say it was a complete win.
I hope they come back. They got a round. They're gonna have a second half. All right, so we're gonna have a tech pause.
All right.
All right, let's see. What's been happening on the other side of things? Look, we were building a computer, so I'm not gonna lie. I kind of started getting invested in that. Okay, do you actually have all the algorithms, or do you just kind of mess with it till it works? I need to know for the
I can solve
cube.
it in like roughly 50 seconds.
Okay. Do you have like do you work off of like white face first and then like go that from the base to do the rest of the layers?
There's
Or what do you do?
a deeper method to this, and it's called the CFOP method, and it works pretty well. I was gonna try to do it before we got back.
Oh, okay.
It seems like we're reconnected, but we're not started yet, so I've still got some time here.
I mean, the game is about as alive as that fish. Right there.
Where the heck is that fish?
I actually
Servers,
don't know.
Zoom out. Show us the
Enhance.
location of the enhance.
Why is it here?
Hey, Tom! That's why. It's Tom.
Oh, Tom. Okay, yeah.
Tom
Kench.
Kench. He's hanging
Yeah.
out. He's a snacker.
That's a nice little Easter egg I did not know existed. Are we sure Little Gamer's back?
Illness, though, does not represent this time around. Setup ahead will at least even out with range and crew. This is actually big dubs for Sentries off of reset. They just downloaded. You're finished.
Okay. Well, Ives will at least be able to get one. Now they have to face off and get a full ace. They're going to throw up at least that barrier wall. Ives welcoming anyone that wants to take these hands. They're rated E for everyone. Oh, they can't quite get the wall bang and give wins. We'll find a second round. 9-3 maybe?
Still dealing with odd issues regarding the connectivity, but I mean, two nines, two mine. I mean, bit concerning. Seems like, well, I mean, it's up to the players themselves to make that decision. Once again, back to our break.
Oh yeah, did you solve it? Okay. He's got the red. See, he's got what's called towers, which is like you get the middle top, but not the eyes, and then you like align those. So. Oh, you're doing the CFOP method. I don't know your method.
Yeah, CFOP says shut up.
Okay. You know what?
CFOP says clearly you don't own an air fryer.
Yes, I do. I got fat from an air fryer, okay?
You're not fat. I've seen you in real life. You're
Yeah, well, I got fatter, okay? Hold
you're
on.
well maintained.
Hold on. Wait, does this work?
What is that?
Oh. Oh, wait. It's, I thought it was charged. Maybe it's not charged. Yeah!
Wait, that's so cute. That's
Yeah,
so, that's so
got this for my
unofficial.
birthday. And it's like, it's the little guy. It's the
Oh,
little-
yeah,
it's the little-
I recognize him.
Yeah, that's my dude. Right there. Okay. I didn't realize he was on this entire. Okay. All right. Well, we are currently waiting on a player to return. D-Block Steppas 1-0. And they will be playing against whoever went. You solved it. Okay.
There you go.
I also
So
have this for no reason.
slower.
I don't know what this is.
We're sharing.
It's kinda
Confusing.
a little cat.
I wish I could show you. I have what I eat for dinner every night usually. This is my Zender's chicken seasoning.
Oh, I thought you just ate pure powder for. You do. Just the powder.
So
Just-
that's how I usually get through the afternoon.
Okay. We don't have too much. I bought one of these.
That's it. That's the only thing on.
That's
That's the only thing on my desk. I have.
He's got seasoning. I have so many. I've got props galore. Okay, look, this is.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I can't even make it up. Oh, I do have this. I do have this.
What do you
beautiful
got?
Thing. This is a nice gift that I received.
Aw. What does it have a name?
No, this one in particular does not. Everything else does. I have like 80 stuffed animals and they all have a name. This one doesn't. So.
Are you waiting for a special moment? Like, Do you think
It's not
Terry?
mine to name. All right.
Oh, okay. Okay, so someone else
This is
should name.
And
okay.
it's custom, made by hand
That's
by a friend. So
it's so soft looking. Can you wear it like a hat, or is it just like a?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, like this. Okay, there you go. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like we are going to be going according to production. A 4v5. Little Gamer just quit. So we are going to be going in turtle head and all back into game. Oh, what is this angle? This has got to be the top of A, right? I think.
Oh. Everyone, give a round of applause to our observers.
Shout out.
Shout out to that. I didn't even know Ascent was big boom busted. I had no idea. Look at that.
I think we're in Italy because this place like literally got reverse gravitied and just busted whenever that happened. My goodness, Range got an opening pick.
In the end, once again, more aggressive corner peaks, more aggressive picks. To no surprise, to no chagrin, it is literally but yet once again set up to give wins. And sadly, the overdrive doesn't mean much of anything, as it is going to be D-Block Steppers picking up the final round of the first half. A handful to go here to cement themselves.
I feel like a fun between round and between maybe map, like either analyst, observer, or just any kind of like a party game that you can play with Valorant is seeing if you can name a map call out position based on the zoomed in view of the observer. I think
That's a fun game.
Only the biggest Val nerds would know.
That's right, chat. We're giving away fresh silver coins depending on what you know about Valorant.
How well do you know what we're talking about? 100,000 coins. Do you know where this turtle is?
500,000 coins if you can figure out where this pixel is located. Has to be specific.
I mean, considering that that's worth an Xbox, I'll play. Please. That's real. But sentries do get an opening pick. In fact, 2 will go down. Shield will go up. Where in the world is ISO? Bronny James trying to be able to win these fights. And sentries are actually taking control.
Wow. Sentries on the other side. A bit of a knife fight. And I'll tell you what, they are one step closer to an AI-generated PS5.
If only my childhood were filled with AI-generated PS5s.
See what they'll do. Range returning from being AFK. Didn't even know that was a thing, apparently.
They got the opening pick a little bit ago, which was confusing because I didn't know how they got that from the middle of the map. Both sides buying up. We got Marshals on the attacking half of D-Block Steppas. Ives immediately having their double tap shield popped. They're not going to walk through those paint shells, but they are going to try and get through Vacant, but immediately that bomb is dropped.
Spike now, but no choice to stay still, for it is a lonely... Oh, well, that sucks. That. Alright, well, the Boom Buddy clips the corner a little bit. It doesn't even do that thing with, like, where, you know, you have a Roomba, it gets caught a little bit, but it just keeps moving forward, so it gets kind of, like, spinning. It didn't even do that.
No. Ooh. Dismiss, get in, get out, get on with their lives is illness. As they will try to find something with a little bit more automatic to its rifling. Boosted is using every bit of their sprint. Just a 360 around anywhere. Maybe get the 360 no-scope medal. Full fountain. Bucking along. A Devour will give Illness back some HP, and it becomes a 1v3.
Set up far and away there. A little gamer now, technically, in a 1v1 range.
30
not
seconds left.
Part of our series currently, if I'm correct. So it's up to Boosted to pull this one off. 3 seconds on the board. Spike is down here. Not gonna be a lot of time to get the job done, as Boosted does finally pick that one up.
Oh, I'm out of here.
And then they get a new chest cavity to breathe through. So 11-3, go D-block after the first one goes a bit too crazy for him. And take a range. Just joining the barrels and the chairs.
Bronny James on the reconnect as well here as range. Surprisingly, mind you, that means it was a 4v5 win for D-Block Steppers. So even though we had early disconnects from the likes, I believe, of Sentries, I think it is now, I mean, this could not be a better situation for Sentries.
Yeah, a little gamer, I think, was on their way out, and then they came right back in. Bronny James goes ahead and, I mean, let's be real, Range really hasn't been here the majority of the game because he's always been killing them with either the firewall or the hot hands. Give wins, trying to see everyone that goes through and is going to use that paranoia to that catwalk position. So as they haul butt through this tree, nearly getting caught, they still do as Full Fountain gets their doppelganger.
Nice there, but Illness continuing to pick it up on the corner. Shot from the other side, barely escapes the edge. Shot out the way. Boosted still trying to find the peaks over the side. Is picked apart, but it is by Illness.
Oh my god. Did you know, for some reason, that window right there, they specifically added in the 9.0 or 9.08 patch that the Pathfinder and the Tailwind can now bust through that window.
Very interesting. I had
Yeah.
no idea. I mean,
yeah,
it makes
I didn't-
sense. I mean, it should.
Yeah, I didn't realize you couldn't before, but
Yeah, I had
apparently
no
they made
idea.
sure you
That's
can
insane.
now. Yeah. So all you Jet and Sky gamers, you can get through that window now.
Little details, little things you learn. Empress online, Illness with one kill, one less inch away from the end. A little gamer will be picked off just as quickly, and we are 3 kills away from the grand final stage.
My ultimate's ready.
Full Fountain actually gets rid of Illness,
It's
and
you
I was
and
thinking that
me.
they were not going to have a great time in that. Now, going into the kill contract, tossing the gun over the wall. What a try at that flex. And Ives comes out the better of it. Getting caught from behind, they're going to get bucketed instead straight out of the contract. It becomes this 1v1 with a bonus of range still at spawn.
Oh.
Wait, did Bronny also DC?
Bronny James disconnected. Bronny James is reconnected.
Oh, wait. Okay.
All right, he's here. He's come back. What happened, guys?
This is crazy. Just living in an alternate timeline, rather.
Not great, by the way. Pistol setup, too, so.
Spike planted.
It'll be fine. Probably. Alright. Dark cover will go down, and this should be a default sort of situation, but now they'll have no idea if they're coming up to the archway, so they're going to be able to peek a little bit easier.
Stealing sight.
Checking underneath, clearing these corners out. Very good. Lines on the other end means for Bronny James, it's a pickup. And even down a member in their final moments, it is a big dub for the likes of the D-Block Steppas.
Oh, man. So D-Block, the Ardrey Kell Knights, in hand, and very handedly, take this one in a 26-3, 13-0, 13-3, 2-0 dub, going into the grand finals of your VESL Valorant Yearly Cup. Range, the only one at the bottom there, but they really weren't kind of present at all. Almost had
Almost
him,
had
says give wins. Always with the quips at the very end as well. But shout out to D-Block Steppas. They make their first entry, and we're still waiting on the results for Big Steppas and Team GOAT. If they defeat Team GOAT, we're just gonna have a whole bunch of Steppas stomping the yard tomorrow.
If we have D-Block Steppas and Big Steppas in the finals together, it's a Steppa v Steppa matchup, and the reality is, do D-Block Steppas or Big Steppas come out on top? Because honestly, I'm more of a Big Steppa guy, but I can see some arguments for D-Block Steppas.
Yeah, you know what? I'm okay with either Steppa as long as they step up to the plate and we get to see some great fun. But so far, this is about as high school as it can get in some of these matches. Which, you know what? For me, that's, you know, you have all these students bringing in the program and having a great time, and that's all we can ask for. Also, if you guys are interested in more events that are coming up here for VESL, Fall Guys will be coming up on November 8th through 10th, as well as Brawlhalla on the 15th through the 17th. So in a
join
couple more
me.
weekends, are you a big Brawlhalla fan? I need to know.
Guy, I'll be there.
Top 5 games? Where's this sit for you, Brawlhalla?
It's definitely in my top 10 played.
Okay. All right.
go.
Well, then you guys can have a chance to have Zephyr cast your games if you just go and sign up for that, as well as the Fall Guys tournament. But for today, final thoughts, Zephyr. We got to see some wild games, bit lopsided, but obviously I think the better teams are making their way through this bracket.
Yeah, I think I'm most interested to see our day 2, because ultimately every skill set has now been kind of brushed aside, and we're getting to things that at least reap a more balanced sense of gameplay. Finals here between what will be D Block Steppas and whomever joins them, whether it is going to be Team Goat or Big Steppas, will definitely be a much more climactic finish to the VESL Esports Cup for Valorant.
And apparently, as all of a hint, Big Steppas did take game 1, but you can only find out if they make it to the grand finals if you join us tomorrow. Thank you so much to both Ash as well as Reed for being an awesome production and observer, as well
and
as,
Waifu.
of course, the wonderful fan. Oh yeah, Waifu. Shout out. Sorry, Waifu. As well as the awesome antics of Zephyr joining myself, Hell Monkey Man, in the booth. But for tonight, that is it. We'll see you at the same time tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern. It is 1 weekend before you have to draw back the clocks, so don't do it too soon. But for tonight, this has been it. You've been awesome, and we'll see you next time.